Best scenes: escape to planet B346. A transport ship carrying settlers to a distant planet heads towards a black hole. A virus contracted in the Centauri system has wiped out the crew and most of the passengers. Two survivors attempt to navigate the ship, but miss the planned flyby trajectory and end up in an uncharted part of the galaxy. Finally arriving at a habitable planet, William and Elizabeth land far apart in separate escape pods. Exterior, seashore of planet B346, day establishing. On a deserted beach, dense palms crowd a shallow cove in front of crashing waves. Looking like a tattered castaway, William emerges escape pod. Angle on William. Sweating in the steamy tropical environment, he climbs down onto a sandy beach, begins coughing, and examines a crusted gash on his arm. He bends over and vomits.
Damn virus.
Suddenly fearful, he looks at the deserted shore around him. He staggers to water's edge and shouts, "Elizabeth!" A mass resembling a body floats offshore. William plunges into the water, but finds it only to be a piece of palm tree. Back on land, he stumbles across the beach. Rounding a treed peninsula, he trudges onto another empty bay, calling, "Elizabeth!" Shoreline gives way to a wider beach, close on William's face. William squints under the midday sky of blinding brilliance. View ahead to horizon. A speck of movement appears on the horizon. A tiny white spot jumps back and forth, growing in size. The speck takes form. It's a woman wearing a white dress flapping in the air. Features of his wife appear.
Elizabeth!
He dashes toward her, but the image shimmers and disappears. He drops to his knees, sobbing, coughing, and swiping at the sand in despair. He catches sight of a path leading inland through the growth. Exterior path through the palms, day. William tentatively starts up the path. Sounds of a screeching animal remind of an alien world. Cautiously he creeps through dense foliage until tropical palms give way to open grassy fields. Exterior open field, a series of angles on William making his way over the terrain. Exterior open field, late afternoon. Smoke rises in a wooded area ahead. Suddenly a hideous loud roar like a T-Rex dinosaur echoes over the valley. William dives under cover near the trees. A bird creature crows eerily in the fading light. Ominous. In a clearing beyond, bodies of naked red humanoids are spread over the ground, many in pieces. Smoldering huts stand amid possessions strewn about. Fearfully, William steps warily into the area, inspecting victims. The carnage is awful. He puts an arm over his mouth. A long-haired creature lays face down, dressed in light-colored clothing. He lunges to turn it over, but finds a native's lifeless stare and a throat oozing blood. At the sound of a crack, he jerks a glance over his shoulder, frozen like a deer caught in headlights. He spies an odd-shaped knife lying on the ground. Warily, he tucks the weapon in his belt, then sits on the ground holding his knees, head down, rocking back and forth. Exterior open field, sunset. A terrified William hurries off, treading through the tall grasses, lunging forward as if pursued by Satan. Exterior open field, twilight. A tiny light shines in the distance.
Shelter?
Exterior coal house, night. Beyond a massive iron gate stands a circular domed building with walls of white adobe on well-maintained grounds. Other structures include a storehouse and shed holding several hovercraft. It is a home of both technology and wealth. At the gate, William shouts for entry. No answer. He steps inside. Exterior front door, evening. William presses a triangular pad and a door retracts. A tall, dark-skinned android, Simone, dressed in a white coat, glares at him with black eyes turning to a yellow glow. The robot makes hissing sounds. William adjusts his translator earpiece.
Who are you? What do you want?
May I see the master of the house?
The servant scans the deplorably dressed visitor. Under the doorway's light, a laser beam focuses on the knife. He turns inside.
Follow me.
William stumbles forward after the floating figure. Interior, cold living room, night. William is shown to a spacious, well-furnished living quarters. Thick, dark beams stretch across the ceiling, contrasting with the white walls that hold large portrait images above seamless floors and a gray stone fireplace. Exhausted, he settles into an upholstered chair. He glances down at soiled blotches from his dirty clothes and quickly stands, swiping at the seat before backing into an adjacent table and toppling a figurine. He lunges for it. An elderly gentleman, Cole, appears in the doorway, scowling at the visitor. His face is heavily lined with a narrow goatee and wavy white hair. The landlord wears a silk-like robe.
Good evening. I'm Cole. Who are you, and why have you come to my house?
William stands awkwardly.
Excuse the intrusion. I'm William Darman from Earth. Our ship was lost, and my wife and I ejected. When I reached your shore, she was nowhere in sight. I must find her.
Simone, bring us drink.
I found some humanoids hacked to death. Just what kind of creatures roam this wilderness?
I thought I knew.
Sir, I'm a Class 1 farmer from planet Earth. We were on our way to the Antares system to get a new stake.
I'm sorry for you.
I just want to get my wife back.
It's unfortunate that you came to this planet. Nowhere is poverty farther from wealth.
I won't give up till we're back on our feet.
It has been my experience that of health, wealth, and happiness, one seldom achieves even one of these in life.
Is there anyone who can help me?
The nearest native enforcement unit is 100 leagues away.
William sags into a chair. The android appears, carrying a platter with 2 glasses. After a swallow, William leans forward.
Master Cole, what happened out there?
Cole steps over to a large portrait wall hanging.
I am one of the few overseers descendant from an ancient race called the Siths that settled this planet 4,000 years ago. They discovered a population of primitive natives who they trained to work our plantations. My family has managed this glucose processing facility for 300 years, but now we fight for control while native fanatics encourage workers to free themselves.
But you are a successful farmer. That's all I want to be.
Cole gestures toward a portrait of a native leader.
3 years ago, we were forced to recognize a native government. Under Sith's pressure, the first ruler was forced to abdicate, but he left a son behind. 8-year-old Domed.
So the natives have no leader?
The prince is protected by a preceptor and his doctor, who limit access to the young aborigine. The regent is in charge until he comes of age, but the regent does nothing to put down the troublemakers.
How do you deal with these renegades?
I keep a gorgle. My neighbor, Apham, has assembled a native army. He patrols the area, doling out justice to the agitators.
Angle on William. William shakes his head groggily. The proprietor's words blend with a rising background hum.
The regent opposes the use of natives to work in our factories, indifferent to our plight.
Cole's image swims. William topples forward. Dissolve, interior, Coalo, living room, day. Loud banging echoes from the front door. William raises his head off the floor blearily. Voices join the banging sounds.
Master Cole, open the door! Hey!
Open the door, Master Cole.
Reluctantly, William climbs to his feet, takes 2 steps and tumbles. Cursing, he pushes up to his knees and sees Cole's body, with his knife sticking out of a dark stain in his host's back. He feels for a pulse at the neck, then steps into the hallway. Interior, front door, day. Urgent knocking quiets as he opens the door to blinding light and silhouettes of armed men. A mean-looking native holds a blaster and glares at William.